In this video, we're going to go over how to create frequency distributions for quantitative data and for categorical data using StatCrunch. So in my Stat Lab, on your toolbar on the left side, click on StatCrunch, and then click on Datasets from your textbook. And we're going to be using the second data set, foot and height data. And the first distribution I'm going to create is for the age data. And if you notice, the age data is in the second column, and I need a grouping variable in order to create the frequency distribution. And if I look at my age data, it runs from the teens all the way up through the 60s and 70s. So I'm going to create a grouping variable, and to do that I'm going to use these commands: data, bin, select the column I want to create the variable for, and I want to do it for age. And I'm going to start with a fixed width, and this really would correspond to when we create a histogram that we'll learn about in the next section. We're going to start at 10 years, and we're going to let the bin width be 10. And then if you notice down here, the bin edges, it's going to include the left endpoint but not the right endpoint, and I'll explain to you what I mean when we come up with the frequency distribution. And now when you click on compute, StatCrunch is going to put this in the first blank column that you have, and here you see here. So this particular person who's 67 falls in this bin from 60 to 70. This bin actually goes 60 to 69 because it's not going to include the right endpoint. Now I can create my frequency distribution. So I'm going to go to Stat, Tables, Frequency, and I'm going to use that grouping variable that I just created. And then down here I can pick the statistics that I want. Let's say I want to do frequency and percent of total. Compute. So here's my frequency distribution, and I notice that I've got 30% of the people in this data set are between 20 and actually 29 years of age. The next largest group is 40 to 49 years of age. So there's my frequency distribution. I could change this using the options and change it to a relative frequency, and again, there's a lot of different choices down here. I could do a cumulative frequency. There's a lot of options that you can pick, and you use Control Click here to select more than one option. And there I can change the look of that frequency distribution. Now let's do a frequency distribution for categorical data. And I'm going to use shoe size. I could do sex, but I've only got 2 categories. I'm going to do shoe size because there should be a relatively few number of shoe sizes in there. So first I'm going to go to the same steps I had before. I'm going to go to Stat, Tables, Frequency, and I'm going to pick the shoe size. And again, I can pick some options down here. I'm going to do frequency and percent of total. And so now I notice that I've got shoe sizes ranging from 7 up to 14, and here's my percent of the total. Now I also realize that men and women generally have different size feet. Men tend to have larger feet. So I may want to go in to my options on this table and go down here and do a group by, and group by sex. And what this is going to give me is 2 tables. And now I notice, I'll pull this over here, I notice that the women are starting at a size 7 and going up to a size 11. The men are starting in a 9 and going to a 14. So by doing the grouping variable, I can separate out the females from the males.